Yo, welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet VGC video. I'm your host, Jose Rocks, and today we're going to be getting into a little bit of breakdown. So first off, Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome into 2024, and I look forward to a lot of great content. It's going to be my first video of the year. And while the ladder is not up yet, I did think it would be up on the first, but it looks like it's going to be actually starting on the third, the in-game ladder, which I have some teams, already prepped for you guys, so that I'm going to be able to showcase. I want to talk about the new paradox just for a little bit. So this is not going to be nothing too long, a little quick video. I just want to talk about which one I think will be the best in VGC, and we'll see if it holds up at the end of this format. So starting off, we have Gouging Fire. As you know, they're still relatively new to Showdown, so they don't have the picture yet, but you can see like the little icon up here. Gouging Fire is going to be an interesting one. So I want to give you a set. I'm not going to reveal any of the sets that I have on the team that I'm going to be using, but I'm just going to give you a typical set that you might see running around as far as just a starter set if you were looking at a way to use these Pokemon, right? And I would say it doesn't have to be that. I don't know why I always do that. This is how I learned how to EV Pokemon. So first off, starting with Gouging Fire, what makes it unique? So what makes it unique is this Burning Bulwark move. So this is a really cool move where it's one of the new protects. You have Pokemon in the past that have like Ogerpon, has things like Spiky Shield. Spiky Shield. There we go. We got Spiky Shield, and then you have what's this called? Toxapex, and it has Baneful Bunker. What else do we have? Spidops. He has what? Silk Trap, I believe. Right, and you have these three moves. I mean, it may be another one I'm missing, but these are the ones I'm thinking of right now. So Spiky Shield damages you. King Shield by I can't forget King Shield by Aegislash, but it also changes it to defensive position. But it's not in the game right now, right? But other than that, yeah, Spiky Shield, which damages you upon contact, and if you hit it, this one poisons you, Baneful Bunker, and Silk Trap drops your speed. But now we have a new move, which is Burning Bulwark, which when you make contact with it with the physical move, it's gonna burn the Pokemon. Unless it's like a fire type, it's gonna be burned every time, right? And the good thing about that is most fake out users are always physical. You have, the random ones like Monkey Dory and stuff like that, but for the most part, most fake out users are physical, right? So faking this Pokemon out is really bad. And the thing is, once you're burned, like Iron Hands being burned, Rillaboom being burned, they're pretty much useless for the rest of the game, right? And this is a relatively bulky Pokemon. 105 HP, 121 special defense, 93 121 physical defense, 93 special defense. If this thing burns you, you can't KO this Pokemon anymore, right? And then it also gets Breaking Swipe to drop your physical attack even lower. So this Pokemon is very crippling for physical type attackers. Of course, Incineroar is really not affected by the burn part, but it can get its physical attack dropped by the Breaking Swipe. And once you go for Booster Energy, now you don't have your item. Incineroar can't really hit you with Flare Blitz because you 4 times resist that, and you can't. Knockoff is not doing any damage because of you dropping the attack and you already consuming your item, right? So this Pokemon is very crippling to physical attackers. I would say you could run something like I say a lot of people run Grass Terror. I don't think Grass Terror is the best for this. I think I have a Terror that I'm using on mines from my end game, and I don't want to reveal that just yet as well. But I think that Steel Terror is good for this, just so you take resisted damage from the Fairy type damage. You can also just go straight Fire Terror, just to drop your Dragon typing, and now you resist Fairy type as well. You're still weak to Rock, you're still weak to Ground, but if you wanted to get rid of that, you can go Water Terror. Electric and Grass already, you resist both of those, and you 4 times resist Grass, so Water's a good Terror type if you want to use this as a defensive option, right? And another thing that you can go for is Dragon Dance. Now with Dragon Dance, you're able to get a +1, so you can get around those Intimidate drops and continue to like dish out, decent damage or Breaking Swipe. The last new move that is not its signature move, but is widely it's widely distributed across a lot of fire types, is going to be Temper Flare. So Temper Flare works as, okay, so your opponent needs to fake you out and they're willing to risk the burn, but you know that they really probably don't want to fake you out, so you just go for an attack, right? If they flinch you and you didn't go for Boiling Bulwark, now the next turn you're coming out with a 150 base fire type stab move, right? Which is a lot of Pokemon that use Stumping Tantrum outside of Landorus and Ting Lu. They don't really get stabbed on Stumping Tantrum, so while they are using the 150 base power move, it doesn't come off with stab. This Pokemon gets stabbed from Tempered Flare. Like I said, a lot of Pokemon get Tempered Flare, just like a lot of Pokemon get Stumping Tantrum, but the ones that use it the best are actually the ones that have, that typing. And like I said, Landorus and Ting Lu are the only ones that usually use Stumping Tantrum. They get stabbed from it. There's a lot of other Pokemon that get access to Stumping Tantrum that, even with the 150 base power, if they're like intimidated or something, it's not doing that much damage. Tempered Flare 150 base power, even if you're intimidated, it's going to be doing a lot of damage based off the 115 attack. And that makes me feel like this Pokemon is going to be, out of the three, it's going to be the best supportive option. You can use it offensive, and even with Dragon Dance, like you don't need Dragon Dance, you can really go like Snarl, right? And then just go like a Booster Energy Speed Nature. And now you're disrupting physical attackers, you're disrupting special attackers, and you're still dealing decent damage, right? And this can be a very annoying set to go against, and as well as like getting your teammates set up for success. Like if you want to have something that has like a Swords Dance, or you have like Follow Me Redirection in the back, and you have something else that wants to go for like a nasty plot, like Godango, like this is a very good support mon. A lot of people are probably going to try to use it offensively from the jump, but in my opinion, I think that over the long haul, you're going to see how defensively good it is at burning things and just cause a lot of disruption. So that's going to be my opinion on this. This is the Paradox version of Entei. If you want to do something a little bit more offensive, then I would recommend going with Entei, since it gets inner focus, it can't be intimidated. And Sacred Fire on like Sun teams is very hard to switch into, right? Of course, you get E-Speed, so you're able to use it like next to Chien-Pao if you want to go for like a normal Terra E-Speed. And if you're going for like a Assault Vest set, you can always throw Snarl on there. Well, if you want to go offensive, I wouldn't say throw Snarl. You want to use Stumpy Tantrum. This is one of the Pokemon I was talking about, how it doesn't get stabbed on Stumpy Tantrum, so it only really hits super effective mons well, and it can't be flinched. So a lot of the times you're not gonna be able to get that 150 base power unless you like miss, right? Other than that, and then I would say your last move you can go like Crunch, so that way you can like just remove like Farigiraf and Cresselia next to Chien-Pao if they're trying to like set up a Trick Room, right? And this keeps you, if you run this next to Chien-Pao, this keeps you from having to be forced to run like a dark move on Chien-Pao. Now you can get back to the fighting coverage on Chien-Pao, and now you have like very good type coverage across the board next to Chien-Pao. So if you want to go for like something a little bit more offensive, go with Entei in my opinion. But if you want that support thing that's going to help your other Pokemon set up and sweep, then definitely go with Gouging Fire. Next we have Raging Bolt. So I'm going to give you, a really cool set that I think is really nice for Raging Bolt. A lot of people are using Booster Energy, but if you have a redirection user, I would say go Leftovers, right? Leftovers, Fairy Terra, Thunderclap, of course, a signature move. Then you want to go Dragon Pulse, because you don't want to be dropping your special attack with Draco Meteor, since you're already dealing like coming off base 137 special attack. Dragon Pulse is doing a lot of damage. You want to go Calm Mind and Protect. And now you have a very threatening Pokemon that can set up Calm Mind. Is this something next to something like Mousehold, or even next to what is it weak to? It's weak to Ice. It's weak to Ground. It's weak to Dragon. And something that can eat, ground type attacks and a lot of special type attacks is Water Ogerpon or Wellspring. Right? And you just go with the Follow Me set, make Ogerpon really bulky. And now you can set up in front of this, right? And then you can even pair this with like a Trick Room team or like a Tailwind team. It's base 75 speed, so you can use it on Tailwind or Trick Room. Think of Armarouge. Sometimes Armarouge, if it ran max speed, you can use it on Tailwind. Of course, most Armarouge is mostly seen on Trick Room teams, but now with like a redirection user, like this Pokemon is very strong. Terra Fairy, so if they try to like snipe you off with like a Draco Meteor, now you're immune to that, and you get pretty much a free Calm Mind off. And if you're going up against like Walking Wake or something like that, once you get the Calm Mind off, like with Fairy Terra, they're not doing much damage to you with like Hydro Steam and Flamethrower, and they can't hit you with Draco Meteor, right? And you're like 125 HP, 91, 89 special defense. Like these defenses are nothing to scoff at. Like One calm mind in this thing, and then also you want to pair it with an intimidate user. So I think a Cineroar is a good pick for it, right? So Raging Bolt, Ogerpon, and Cineroar, and I would say since it's a dragon type, you want to always pair it with a steel type user. Let's say Gholdengo, right? Now these four, let's move it right here so we can just see. Just to get a better look at it. These four are a strong core. You have your, your dragon, dragon and fairy. Then you have your steel. You have your water, grass, and fire type. And now you have a fantasy core and a balanced core, all with just 4 Pokemon, right? Including like this Terra. And of course, you can go for like a cool Terra on Gholdengo, right? But Nasty Plot, also you're able to set up. And with Intimidate, I would say you could even go like a Choice Scarf Gholdengo just to surprise people next to this type of set. Because I feel like if you want to set up with Raging Bolt, then you shouldn't be trying to set up with Gholdengo, right? Gholdengo needs to be a little bit more offensive. And Choice Scarf Make It Rain on Rank Ladder with Best of 1 is very powerful for this Gholdengo. Because most people are expecting you to be Dragon Terror and Nasty Plot, right? Now with Follow Me, you have Pressure. Once you go for Make It Rain, you can safely switch out into Incineroar. Incineroar resists a lot of the same things outside of ground that want to hit you, like dark type moves. Incineroar resists that. Ghost type move, Incineroar resists that. Fire type move, Incineroar resists that. He's a good switch into your Gholdengo, and this is a very balanced core. And now with Intimidate Pressure, once you get Calm Mind up and with Parting Shot and Intimidate and Fake Out, now you're able to really support this Raging Bolt. And this is a very powerful core, and in my opinion, I think it's something that should be explored just a little bit more for people that really want to try out Raging Bolt. But next, so we're going to go ahead and get into Walking Wake. Walking Wake's going to be the last one, so let's go ahead and delete these. Walking Wake is a very cool Pokemon in my opinion. It's one of the new additions to the format that everyone's going to appreciate, because I don't think that it is broken, but I think that it's a healthy addition to Sun teams and Rain teams. Now, I think that you kind of want to run Booster Energy Speed with this, just so you outspeed a lot of the the common threats, since you don't get a speed boost in the Sun and you don't get a speed boost in the Rain, right? And I think that you could go Water Terror. I think that Stellar Terror could be interesting for this, just so you get the most out of all your coverage. Actually, I think that you need to drop the Dragon type in. I would say even go like Fire, but you could go Water. Let's say Water for now. Draco Meteor is going to be good because you really want to nuke things in the Sun with this. And honestly, you could just go Life Orb and then play it on like a Tailwind team with manual Sun with like Whimsicott or Tornadus, right? Draco Meteor, Hydro Steam, Flamethrower, and Protect, definitely, right? And now this is a very consistent set. This is probably going to be the most common set. A few people might deviate a little bit away from this. I would say you could go for like Fairy Terror and Terra Blast instead of Flamethrower, but I think this will be like the most consistent. 125 base special attack is very powerful. 109 base speed, so you're able to, with Intimidate, regularly outspeed like things like Chi-Yu, any of the base 100s, which is very valuable, right? And you don't have to go all the way investment into that, but I think that just going max speed, just so at worst case scenario you speed tie with other Walking Wake. If you get into a case where you have to win the game by winning a speed tie, hitting one shot with a Draco Meteor, I think max speed is always going to be the best on this type of Pokemon. And Flamethrower hits like those steel types that won't take much damage from you. They still take a lot up from Hydro Steam, but let's say you have something like Primarina. Well, Primarina is going to completely wall this Pokemon, right? You're going to need to use your teammates to actually beat this. But I'm trying to think of something that does well into like Water and Dragon. Nothing really does well into this combo. Tapu Fini would also be something, but that's not in the game right now. So that's why I said Primarina is really good at walling this Pokemon. But nothing can really switch into this combo of these three besides Primarina, right? You can pretty much hit everything in the format, and I think that's very valuable for this Pokemon. That Primarina, while it can be good, I'm not sure what its usage is going to be. Just to know that they have to have a Primarina to like 100% wall this Pokemon is very valuable for any Pokemon in the format. And Flamethrower is not hard to fit onto this move slot. So being able to hit pretty much everything in the format from like neutral damage and very powerful damage with like in the Sun, Flamethrower is going to be doing crazy damage, right? And if you want to be crazy, you can go for like Fire Terror too. just to deal more damage with Flamethrower. Hydro Steam gets boosted in the sun. So this thing is going to love being partnered with things like Torkoal to give it the drought. I would say Ninetales if you want to go like a faster mode. Ninetales can be a little bit disruptive with like Will-O-Wisp and Hypnosis. But the most common partners you're going to see are going to be Whimsicott. I think Whimsicott is the best because the fairy covers for like your dragon weaknesses and things like that. And then of course you have Tornadus. Right? And I think that you will see this occasionally on rain teams with like Pelipper or Rain Dance Tornadus. But it's already a water type, and most water types that be on Tornadus team are going to be Urshifu. Plus, another dragon is becoming more common on rain teams, which is Archaludon. And Archaludon also takes up the dragon slot. So I think that Whimsicott is going to be the better pair for this Pokemon. And Torkoal, if you want to have like that Trick Room option, if you're playing really fast. And honestly, you could kind of fit both of them. So you have a Trick Room mode and Tailwind mode in case you go up against a team that wants to set up Trick Room on your Tailwind. Now you got Torkoal to come in and sweep and still gives you a Photosynthesis boost. And now even if you choose to not go max speed and invest into your special attack all the way and just drop your speed just by a little bit like this, about this much, you can still be timid, or you can just go straight. I would say still be timid because you want to outspeed those base 100s. And now you get a special attack boost now when the sun is up, which is also valuable for walking weight. And this Pokemon is going to do so much damage, right? And I would say run this if you're not really worried about speed ties, or if you have a way to help. Like you can run like Cotton Spore on Cotton Spore plus Tailwind on Whimsicott. That way you don't have to really worry about speed ties, and then you can like really drop all the speed investment, use about that much speed investment, and then just go heavily into the bulk. So now you can eat an attack right once you Terra. And I think this is very valuable for just hitting hard and being bulky, and you don't have to worry about the speed control, because if you go up against opposing walking weight with Tailwind as well, now you can protect, go for Tailwind, and then next turn go for Cotton Spore. Now your walking weight is faster than the other one, and that's a very valuable strategy. So that's going to be just a quick little 3 sets that I wanted to discuss with these 3 Pokemon. The one that I think is going to be the best, have probably the best most results, and probably win a regional early on is going to be Raging Bolt. I feel like it's the bulkiest and it's the hardest to deal with, and the priority move gives it a lot of viability. Think of like King Gambit being slow, but having Sucker Punch alone allows King Gambit, when it gets boosted, to deal so much damage, right? And so think of Raging Bolt kind of like that, like a bulky, slow mon that can take hits, so it doesn't have to be in Trick Room, but really appreciates Trick Room and going first, which makes it even harder to deal with, right? I think the second best is going to be Gouging Fire. I think having a support set is going to be very valuable. I think this Pokemon is going to have the most versatility as far as how many different sets it's going to run and how many different things it can do. And I think Raging Bolt will probably be the most consistent. Walking Wake, while I do think it's going to be a good Pokemon, I think it's going to be the most predictable. When you see it on the Sun team, you're already going to kind of know what it's going to do. It still can sweep you, right? But it's kind of easier to prepare for and deal with, in my opinion. So that's going to be, my list. I think Raging Bolt 1, Gouging Fire 2, Walking Wake 3. And by saying 3, am I not saying it's bad? I'm just saying out of the 3, I think these 2 are better. But it's still going to be, they're all really good Pokemon. But that's going to be it for this video. If you like this type of content, leave a like for me below. Subscribe, turn on post notifications. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, deuces.